Today's Thursday, right? Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Thursday. As we're continuing our towards the end of our final two shows, both Get Smart and TOS, and we're almost done with season 3 of TOS. We're getting there. We're almost done. And then, of course, like I said, with Get Smart, as soon as we finish the original series, we'll go over real quickly on one day. We'll cover both the Naked Bomb and Get Smart again. Those were both. One was a regular film, which bombed at the box office. Obviously, the other thing was a TV movie. Then we'll get into the 6 episodes on Fox, and then we'll get into the final 2008 reboot. Hello, Jim, Commodore Productions, 01. Welcome, sir. Good morning. Yeah, I know it's early for me. Well, you know what I said. I was going to try to get it done sometime today, so then that way I can rest, relax, uh, until the shows that I'm committed to on the weekend. With Chance and with Charlotte. So yeah. So I'm down. This is for the week. This will cover the rest of the week. Is getting these two done, and then I'll set up two more for two different times next week. So yeah. Hey, that was a lot of fun last night, Jim. That was one of the best. Actually, I'm going to say this right now. That was one of the best. You were in charge. Everything went well. We really didn't say a lot of bad words. That was one of the best panels I ever been on. So thank you again, sir. Thank you so much for that. That was wonderful. Yeah, that was fun being there with everybody. Thank you. Oh, well, please don't thank me, dude. Seriously, I was just a part of it. That's all. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah, so let's see now. Before I put my glasses on. All right, so we have season 3, of course, still for both shows, and episodes 7 and 8 from both. So, yeah. All right, so let me get my. I'm gonna put this over for a minute so I can. I'm glad you're here, Jim. Thank you for being here. It means a lot, even if we get one person to watch.
I'm just working.
Yeah. Suzanne's lurking. Shh. Be very quiet. Suzanne was haunting rabbits. Yeah. Okay. Oh man. Had a daymare. Yeah, well, I won't mention it though again. Just say I had a terrible daymare. Oh my lord. Damn shorted. All right. There we go. Now we're all set. Now we're set. All right. Let's get a drink before I get started here. Yeah, we wish it was alcohol. No, we don't. I've been pleasantly sober for 10 years. I aim to keep it that way. Yeah. So, hey, Kevin. Good morning. Hmm. Good morning, brother Kevin. Hey, Jim. It says, hey, Mikey. He's waving. Hi, Kevin. Good morning there to you, sir. Mm-hmm. And Jim was just thanking me about the panel last night. That went well. And Kevin, you were great. Thank you for being there for us, too. You're always there for us, brother. Okay. Let's see. Don't get smart. Just have to pull it up here. IMDb background information. The Devil Wears Prada 2. No! Go away. Damn it. Don't do a second one. The first one was terrible. Dumb Anne Hathaway. Oh, man. Hollywood is just not original anymore. Nope. Oh, God. Even Timothée Chalamet is in a movie called Marty Supreme. No. And Sydney Sweeney is the housemaid? No. Oh, my God. No. I just want to hurt myself right now. No. And Sentimental Value, a movie starring Skarsgård and Oh, no. Sam Rockwell says, good luck, have fun, don't die. What the hell? Toy Story 5? Oh no! This is a nightmare. Will there be a Wicked 3? No, no, stop. Please stop. You're killing me. The Devil Wears Prada 2. No, no. Meryl Streep, go home. It's time to retire. Go to bed. Damn woman. All right, let's see here. Let's get smart. Season 3. Oh my. The things you should have to see on IMDb, them advertising all these sequels. It's like, oh no. Please, please, no. Just hurt me now. All right. All right, the 2 episodes we'll be looking at for Get Smart first is one of our olives is missing. And that air date, it says here, it was Saturday, November 4th, 1967. And then the other one is called When Goodfellows Get Together. And that came out 2 weeks later on Saturday, November 18th, 1967. Okay. There was a 8.2 out of 10 for the first episode. So, yes, I agreed with that. And then the other one was a 7.7 out of 10, close to a B. I gave it a B. So I actually gave both episodes a B grade. So, yeah, they earned it. Plus, of course, the one where the second episode where Jaime goes up against another robot that Chaos built, who is supposed to be a bit stronger, less, charismatic, things like that. It's kind of funny. All right, so let's look at one of our olives that's missing. All right, in this one, a country singer accidentally swallows an olive with a transmitter in it, and Max must protect her from chaos. The director was Jess Oppenheimer, and she also wrote the episode, and Norman Paul assisted. And we had the usual cast of characters: Don Adams, Felden, Platt, Carol Burnett, who just recently passed away. No, I'm sorry, not passed away. She's alive. Don't worry. Plays Ozark Annie in this, and since we've already gone over her story, yeah, she's in her 90s. She's 95. That's so cool. Bernie Capella is Siegfried. Yep, we've covered him too. And then King Moody, who's the chaos scientist, right? And he used to play Starker, so kind of cool. Yeah, so I think there's just one person we'll look at here, Michael Ross, who plays a waiter in this, because I have, and then Agent X40 is John Francis, but I've already, yeah, so Michael Ross, we'll take a look at him. Okay, so let's see what we got with trivia. Okay, while trying to find Siegfried in the hotel, Max tells 99 about the Oppenheimer case, a nod to writer-director Jess Oppenheimer. Show producer Bert Nodella appears as the Chaos Doctor. He chose to be credited as Carrie Nodella. Yeah, in honor of his daughter Carrie. Oh, how nice. The title is a nod to the popular British World War II movie One of Our Aircraft is Missing from 1942. In order to find a double agent, 86 has to use the password, Pussycat, Pussycat, where have you been? To which the right man will answer, I've been to London to visit the Queen. Okay. The password call and response rhyming couplet Max uses to identify the control agent working undercover as a waiter. The Pussycat, Pussycat, where have you been? I've been to London to look at the Queen is from the short English nursery rhyme Pussycat, Pussycat, whose first recorded publishing date is 1805. The concluding couplet is, Pussycat, Pussycat, what did you do there? I frightened a little mouse under her chair. How cute. All right, let's look at the goofs. There's one. Continuity. Siegfried activates the ejector seat, which launches Ozark Annie, an obvious dummy of her, several stories high. She's in the seat all the way up, but the seat disappears on her way back down when she lands on the board. Poor Carol Burnett. Let's see here. Crazy credits. Okay. Though identified as Starker by Siegfried, King Moody's character is credited as Chaos Scientist. Well, that's funny. It's hilarious. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty, and of course, Paramount Studios doing the filming and production. You know what I don't like is the fact that GetSmart doesn't tell me when the filming dates were. There's no information on that. But when you read TOS, they have the filming dates right there for you. It's kind of weird. Okay, I guess not everybody cares about knowing when they were filmed on certain, you know what I mean? On certain shows and stuff. Yeah, kind of funny. All right. Yeah, we looked at everybody. Okay, here's Michael Ross. And yeah, let's also look. I just found this out as I went further on the list here. Douglas Rowe, who plays an interviewer as Doug Rowe. Yeah, so we'll look at Michael Ross as the waiter, Doug Rowe, who played the interviewer. Okay. All right. Okay, unfortunately, we did lose Michael Ross as an actor back in 1993. He was born on December 15th, 1911, in New York City, known for DOA from 1949, Captain Kidd and the Slave Girl from 1954, and, oh, cool, he was in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman in 1958. That's a great horror film. He died on September 10th, 1993, in LA. So he was 81 years old. Very cool. All right. In DOA, he played Dave in 49. In 54, in Captain Kidd and the Slave Girl, he played Blackbeard, but his name then was Mike Ross. Then in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, he was Tony, but he also played the Space Giant as Mike Ross in 1958. And then in 1957 to 1958, he was in 2 episodes of that cool TV series called Playhouse 90. From season 1, episode 20, he was the masseur in a episode called The Comedian. And then in season 2, he played Ab Benner, the last man. That was the name of the episode. Season 2, episode 18 in 58. So very cool. All right. According to IMDb background, his last acting role or on TV or film was a movie called Cracking Up from 1983. In that, he was prison guard number 1. And just before that, about 8 years prior, he was on Little House on the Prairie, where he played Squint for 1 episode. And that was season 1, episode 23, To See the World. So he must have been a blind man in that one. Very cool. All right, so that was the mini bio of Michael Ross. Okay, now we'll take a look at the other gentleman here, Douglas Rowe. Okay, we did lose Douglas Rowe in 2023, so fairly recent, about 2 years ago. Not only was he an actor, but he was a producer as well. And he was in a movie called Calvin Marshall from 2009. It says here. He was born in 1938 in Paterson, New Jersey. He was an actor and producer known for Critters 2, The Main Course. That's a good one. And from 1988, Calvin Marshall in 2009, and Legend in 1995. He died on May 13th, 2023 in Medford, Oregon. So he passed away. It doesn't give his exact birth date, but I'm assuming he passed away at the age of 85. So, yeah. Okay, in Critters 2, The Main Course in 1988, he played Quigley. In 2009, in Calvin Marshall, he was Skeeter as Doug Rowe. He shortened his name. In Legend, which was a TV series, he actually appeared in 3 episodes in 1995 as Sheriff Sam Motes, M-O-T-E-S. Let's see. So he was in season 1, episode 1, the very first one, Birth of a Legend. Then in season 1, episode 8, Bone of Contention. And finally, season 1, episode 10, Fall of a Legend. There. Okay. In 1995. And then he was in a movie called In the Mood in 1987 where he played Uncle Cleet. C-L-E-T-E. All right. And finally, his last appearance in film or movies was the OA, was a TV series from 2019 where he played Uncle Carl for 1 episode. And that was from season 2, episode 6, called Mirror Mirror. Oh, nice. All right. So that was Douglas Rowe. Rest in peace. Okay, now we'll get to our second episode. All right. And let's see. Yep, we still have Commodore and Kevin. So cool. We have Jim and we got Kevin. Good to see you both, gentlemen. Seriously good. We got one person still watching. Very cool. And of course, my beautiful wife. I know you told me you were lurking. You're in stealth mode, babe. Okay. So here we are, episode 8, which is called When Good Fellows Get Together. And Chaos, as I said, has developed another robot that goes up against Jaime. This was directed by Sidney Miller, and the writers were Gary Clark and Norman Paul. And of course, it features, Adams, Feldman, and Platt, Dick Gautier as Jaime. And we're going to look at this, for this episode, we're going to look at, let's look at Ted de Corsia Espinosa, and we'll look at Byron Morrow as Dr. Harris. And of course, in this episode, Larrabee's there, and H.B. Haggerty is Gropo. Yeah. Okay. So, we'll look at Ted and we'll look at Byron. All right. But first, let's look at the trivia. Okay. This is the only episode in the entire series in which both 99 and the Chief do not appear. Wow. Ted de Corsia and Jim Bowles star opposite each other in the season 1 episode Back to the Old Drawing Board in 1966. That was Jaime's debut. De Corsia appears as another Chaos agent, Nats, and Bowles as the doctor who invents Jaime. Very cool. All right, let's look at the goose. All right, it says, Max says, according to the latest Control Blue Book, we could trade Jaime even for a 1956 Etzel, but the Etzel wasn't introduced until 1957. Oops, that's a factual error. Then the character error, it says Jaime has trouble walking and running due to his new springs, but when Gropo breaks into Smart's apartment, he follows Max out the door running normally. Later, when training with Max, he again had trouble running. Oh, interesting. All right. Okay, there's no crazy credits, no quotes. All right. And let's see. Yep. Okay, there we go. Paramount. All right, let's look at cast and crew then. Let's see. We did, okay. Right, so we're going to look at Byron Morrow. Why am I saying Monroe? I don't know. Anyway, Ted de Corsia Espinosa and Byron Morrow as Dr. Harris. Okay, let's look at Ted here. All right. We did lose Ted de Corsia in 1973. That's pretty young. Wow. He was in a movie called Death Takes an Encore in 1958. So it says a big brawny villain of many 1940s and 1950s films. Ted de Corsia was an actor in touring companies and on radio before making a memorable film debut as the killer in The Lady from Shanghai in 1947. Although he occasionally played such sympathetic roles as a judge or a prison warden, de Corsia's imposing size, tough New York street demeanor, he was born and raised in Brooklyn, and gravelly voice assured him steady work, playing murderous street thugs, outlaw gang leaders, or organized crime bosses. It says here he was born September 29th, 1905. He did die on April 11th, 1973, at the age of 67. So, I guess that's a decent life. Yeah. Okay, in 1948, he was in a movie called The Naked City, and he played the role of Willie Garza. Then in 1956, he was in a movie called The Killing, where he played patrolman Randy Kennan. Okay. In The Lady from Shanghai, he was Sidney Broom in 1947. And in 1954, he was Captain Farragut in the great movie there, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which of course featured Kirk Douglas, the Disney movie. So cool, yeah. In 1972, he appeared for the last time in a movie called The Outside Man, where he played Victor in that. Oh, and I just wanted to point out one thing very cool. He was in the High Chaparral TV series. He played Dull Knife in that for one episode. That was in 1970. And the episode was called The Forge of Hate, Season 4, Episode 9. Well, very cool. All right, so that is Ted. Of course, says Minnie Bao, rest in peace. Now we'll look at Byron Morrow. Okay, Byron Morrow, as an actor, he was born on September 8th, 1911, in Chicago, Illinois. He was an actor known for Star Trek in 1966, Black Sheep Squadron in 1976, and Colossus, the Forbin Project from 1970. He was married twice, to Zelda Maxine Friend and Dorothy Nicholas Morrow. He died on May 11th, 2006, in Woodland Hills in LA. He was 94 years old. Wow, he had a good career. Okay. All right. In season 2 of Star Trek, he was in episode 1, Amok Time. He played Admiral Comac in that. And then in season 3, episode 8, which we're going to examine today, For the World is Hollow. That's ironic. For the World is Hollow, and I Have Touched the Sky. He was Admiral Westervlet. Nice. Very cool. In Black Sheep Squadron, he portrayed Admiral Chester Nimitz in that one with Robert Conrad. And he was in the very first episode, season 1, episode 1, Flying Misfits, as Admiral Chester Nimitz. Very cool. In Colossus, the Forbin Project from 70, he was the Secretary of State. And way back in 1962, he was an evacuee from Newhall in the movie Panic in Year Zero in 62. The very last appearance he made was Father Dowling Mysteries. I don't know if you folks remember that series. I barely do. But in that one, he was Judge Alsberg, and he played in one episode, which was season 3, episode 15, called The Moving Target Mystery. And then, do you folks also remember War and Remembrance, that TV miniseries? I do. I remember it. And he was, of course, from 88 to 89, and he was in 2 episodes of that. In 88, season 1, episode 6, which was part 6, he was Admiral William Leahy. And in 1989, he came back to reprise the role in season 1, episode 10, part 10, which was as Admiral Leahy. So, very cool. Byron Morrow. All right. All right, so let's go back here. And we are done for Get Smart there for today. All right, so the next 2 episodes we'll look at next week, whatever time, whatever day I can get aside. I always make time, though. So episode 9 is called Dr. Yes. And then season 3, episode 10 is going to be called That Old Gang of Mine. That is cool. All right, so those are the next 2 episodes for Get Smart next week, which we'll look at from season 3. All right, let's get to Star Trek TOS, and we're going to look at, like I said, episode 7 and 8 from that show. So you can now guess which one is episode 8. All right, here we go. The final season, season 3. All right. So episode 7, of course, is called Day of the Dove. And that premiered Friday, November 1st, 1968. That got a 7.7 out of 10 from over 3,700 people. So, yeah, I gave it a solid B. I thought that it deserved it. And then the following week, Friday, November 8th, 1968, was For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. And that got us, now that one from over 3,500 people got a 7.1 out of 10. And I don't really agree with them as far as saying it's a low C. I'll go with the C plus, but yeah, I don't think it got. I think it didn't deserve as low as it did, even though, you know, Crazy. But anyway, let's see. All right, so let's take a look at Day of the Dove first. Okay. And both humans and Klingons have been lured to a planet by a formless entity that feeds on hatred and has set about to fashion them into a permanent food supply for itself. The director was Marvin J. Chomsky. The writers were Jerome Bixby and Arthur H. Singer. And of course, it featured Shatner, Nimoy, and Kelly. Michael Ansara. Yeah, let's look at Michael Ansara as Kang. And we'll look at Susan Howard as Mara. Very cool. It also had Dewan, Koenig, Takei, Nichols, rest in peace. David L. Ross played Lieutenant Johnson. As David Ross, we talked about him before. Let's see. Yeah, we did talk about who played the Admiral in this, Byron Morrow. So, yeah. Okay, so we'll look at Michael and Susan after we go through some brief trivia. And remember, we don't do the quotes or anything or goose, but that's to save time because I think everybody by now. Herbert, no, everybody knows by now about TOS. Okay, so the spinning alien entity effect was created with a child spinning windmill bought from a stand at Santa Monica Beach. Oh, how cool. Visual effects supervisor James Rugg was told to be creative as the production budget for season 3 had been drastically cut. He bought it after noticing how it glistened in the sunlight and filmed it against a black velvet cloth from several different angles, deliberately out of focus, turning with the help of a desk fan and with different gels on the spotlights. To help make it feel unearthly and disguise what it was, he also undercranked the film in the camera to make it appear to spin faster and ran the film backwards. Cool. Mara is the only female Klingon with a speaking role on TOS. Another female is beamed on board the Enterprise at the same time, but only seen briefly. This episode was originally written with Kor from Errand of Mercy in 1967 as Kirk's Klingon adversary. Although John Colicos wanted to reprise his role, he was in Europe making Anne of the Thousand Days in 1969 and was unavailable. So the part was recast with Michael Ansara as Kang. Near the end of the episode, Scotty tells Kirk that the ship's dilithium crystals are deteriorating. Kirk asks time factor. Scotty replies, in 12 minutes we'll be totally without engine power. This happens with exactly 12 minutes left in the episode. Isn't that cool? Kang wears the same golden sash worn by Kor in Errand of Mercy episode. The same sash would be worn, albeit on the opposite shoulder, by Lieutenant Worf in this first season of Star Trek The Next Generation. Okay, we have a spoiler. Couple of them. Oh, wow. Okay. This is the only time in the original series that a Klingon warship is destroyed on screen. Cool. In the original script, when the alien leaves the ship, Kang compliments Kirk by telling him that he is worthy of being a Klingon. When the entity exits the Enterprise at the end of the episode, it is seen leaving through the front center of the secondary hull, thus canonizing the location of main engineering in a Constitution-class starship for the first time. There was an episode called In Devil's Due in 1991, I think from TNG. It is discovered that Klingons have an entity named Fakhr. I know I can't pronounce Klingon, who is purported to be their version of a devil. At 4 minutes 40 seconds of Day of the Dove, Kang states that Klingons have no devil. Fakhr is not considered a deity. In Homefront in 1996, that establishes that Klingon legend states that the Klingons killed their gods or made them unalive. An epilogue scene was part of the original script, with Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and Kang on the Enterprise bridge. They discuss what has just happened and how their two cultures could eventually reconcile. The scene was cut for time before filming, but it did made it into the James Blish novelization. Okay, cool. All right, so no goofs, no quotes. All right. And we know about the soundtrack with Courage and Norman. And let's see. Okay. And of course, the filming was done there at Paramount on stages 31 and 32, as always. And the filming dates, this was filmed from August 22nd, 1968 to August 29th of 68. So for a week. That's cool. All right. Okay, so we'll look at Michael and Sarah and Susan Howard. Now remember, Michael and Sarah is known for being the former husband of Barbara Eden. So, very cool. All right, yes, unfortunately, we did lose Michael back in 2013. Not only an actor, but he was also a director and a producer. In 1999, he did a movie called The Long Road Home. And he was born in a small village in Syria. And Michael Ansari came to the United States with his American parents at the age of 2. He was living in New England until the family's relocation to California 10 years later. He entered Los Angeles City College with the intention of becoming a doctor, but he got sidetracked into the dramatics department. A stint at the Pasadena Playhouse, where fellow students included Charles Bronson, Carolyn Jones, you know her from Addams Family, and Aaron Spelling, of course, directed one of my favorite series, Charlie's Angels, led to roles on stage and in films, and the starring role is Cochise. He was on a popular TV series. I think that's where he started. He was born April 15th, 1922. He died on July 31st, 2013. He was the age of 91 years old. And like I said, he was married to Barbara Eden, I believe, till his death. So very cool. Yeah. And it does say that, we'll mention that first. In I Dream of Jeannie, where he met the wonderful Barbara Eden, he did play 3 different roles. Season 2, Episode 1, Happy Anniversary. Of course, he was the Blue Djinn in 66. In Season 3, Episode 15, Battle of Waikiki in 68, he was King Kamehameha. And in Season 5, Episode 12, My Sister, the Homewrecker, in 1969, he played Major Biff Jellicoe. Nice. So he was able to get 3 roles in this series. That's cool. Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, right. Getting to sleep with the star. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so in the message, Abu Sofian in 1976, that movie. The Manitou in 78, he was John Singing Rock. Oh, that's an interesting native name. And in Assassination, making people undead or unalive, he played Senator Bunsen in 1987. Okay, according to information here, in 1999, The Long Road Home, he was Murdoch Haynes. That was one of his last roles. And the very last thing that we have him load information for was he did a voice of Dr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze, in a video game called Batman Vengeance, and that was from 2001. Cool. And also, Batman Beyond, the TV series. He was the voice of Dr. Freeze for one episode, and that one, of course, in 1999, season 1, episode 5, which was called The Meltdown. Get that? All right. And then Batman Beyond the movie, he reprised his role as Mr. Freeze. So, yeah, 1999. So, very cool. Yeah. And he did a couple more like that as Mr. Freeze. So, very cool. All right. So, that is the career mini bio of Michael and Sarah. Rest in peace, my friend. All right. And now we'll take a look at his partner there, played by Susan Howard. Let's see here. All right, Susan Howard, yay, she's still alive. She's an actress and a writer. She was born January 28th, 1942. So she is the ripe old age of, get it, 83. Yay. She appeared in a movie called Moonshine County Express in 1977, for instance. Okay, Susan Howard, best known for her 8 years as Donna Krebs in the primetime soap opera Dallas. from 78, was born Jerry Lynn Mooney in Marshall, Texas. I grew up with my father telling me that I was talented and beautiful and wonderful. I respected and loved my father, so I believed him until I grew up and looked in the mirror and saw that my daddy had sort of colored the truth. But by then it was too late. I was hooked. She said of her lifelong desire to be an actress and the support she got from her family, too. That is awesome. She was nominated for one Primetime Emmy. And let's see. Yeah, in Dallas, she appeared as Donna Krebs for 198 episodes from 1979 to 1987. And of course, today's episode as Mara. She was in the TV series Petrocelli as Maggie Petrocelli. So she was Petrocelli's wife for 44 episodes from 74 to 76. And then, like I said, she did Moonshine County Express in 77. She was Dot Hammer in that. The last thing I see for her that she did after Dallas in 1993 was a movie called Come the Morning, where she plays Constance Gibson. And I think she retired after that because that's the last thing I see. But she did premiere for an episode on Love Boat, Vegas, among others. And the Paper Chase. Cool, I remember the Paper Chase. All right, cool. So she's still breathing and she's retired and she is Susan Howard. So very cool. Glad to know that. All right. At least we have one person still living. Right? Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at the final episode for today, which is let's see here. Right. For the world is hollow and I have touched the sky. Okay, so before we look at that, let's see. Okay, cool. So we have 3 likes. Thank you so much. We still have 1 person watching. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Alrighty. Okay, so in this episode, the Enterprise discovers an apparent asteroid that is on a collision course with a planet is actually an ancient populated generation ship. The director was Anton Leader. The writers were Hendrik, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Hendrik Valerts, and Arthur H. Sinner. And remember, of course, same cast members, Shatner, Nimoy, Kelly. Natira is played by Catherine Woodville. So we are going to look at her first. Let's see. Then you got Scotty, Sulu, Chekhov, Uhura, Christine Chappell. There is Admiral Wes Verlet, Byron Morrow. Sorry, I did say he was in this episode, not the other one. We're going to look at John Lormer. He plays an old man. So we'll look at Catherine and we'll look at John. Okay, cool. And we already did look at Byron Morrow. So, all right. So let's look at the trivia here. Okay. Polycythemia is a real disease in which the body produces too many red blood cells and is not by itself fatal. Xenopolycythemia would be an alien, xeno meaning foreign or alien, variation of the disease. It is revealed Dr. McCoy is suffering from the xeno one. The voice of the Oracle was played by James Doohan. Of course it was. John Lormer, who plays the old man, was also in The Cage in 1966 as Dr. Theodore Haskins. He was in The Return of the Archons as Tamar, and some of the same music from his scene in The Cage is reused for his scene here. The Return of the Archons had a similar planet ruled by a tyrannical computer storyline. The ancient Yonada text is based on Korean or Hangul Ma alphabet. The Book of the People is the same as Chicago Mobs of the 20s in A Piece of the Action from 1968. Okay, cool. So that's the trivia. Now like I said, we'll skip the goofs and the quotes. We'll go to soundtrack. Yep, should be the same there. Courage and Norman. All right. And of course, at the same sound stages there in Paramount, 31 and 32. And it was filmed between August 13th, 1968 and August 20th, 1968. So 7 days on that one as well. Cool. I like when I can get through all this real quick. Okay, let's see. So let's look at Catherine first. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, we did lose Catherine Woodville, the actress, back in 2013. She was born on 12 March 1938 in Ewell, Ewell. Oh, yeah, Ewell, England, UK. She was an actress known for Star Trek, Mission Impossible, and The Mystery of Edwin Drood. She was married to Edward Albert, wow, Gerald Friedman, Patrick McNee, oh, wow, from the Avengers, and Michael Julian Anderson Wen. She died on June 5th, 2013, in Portland, Oregon, USA. She was 75 years old. Wow. Okay, so as you know, she plays Natira in this episode. In Mission Impossible in 1968, she was in season 2, episode 16, called The Spy, where she plays Felicia Vabar. And there she used her name Kate Woodville in that. Then in The Mystery of Edwin uh, Drood, a TV miniseries, she was in all 7 episodes as Helena Landless, and there she used her Catherine with a C instead of a K in 1960. She was in 7 episodes of that. And then she was in she was in Wonder Woman from 1979. She was listed herself as Kate Woodville. She played the role of Adele Cobbler, and the episode was from season 3, episode 16, called Amazon Hot Wax. Wow, okay. Hopefully she still looked pretty good for that. All right. Let's see. And last but not least, after Wonder Woman, she was uncredited in a TV series called Salvage One, where she did one episode called The Myrmidon from season 1, episode 9. And then her very last appearance was in Eight is Enough from 1979. She was in 2 episodes as a Ms. Chovik. And she did 2 different episodes in season 4. In episode 4, season 4, she was 10 Ships in the Night. And finally, season 4, episode 7, she was in Big Shoes, Little Feet. That's Kate Woodville. That is so cool. So, Kate, thankfully, you had a good career, and rest in peace. All right. All right. And last but not least, we'll look at John Lormer, who played the old man. There we go. Right. We did lose John in 1986. As an actor, he was born May 7th, 1906 in Canton, Ohio. He was an actor known for Creep Show in 1982. Where's my cake? I remembered that. The Twilight Zone from 1959 and Getting Straight in 1970. He died on March 19th, 1986 in Burbank, California. He was only 79 years old. No, not bad. He had a good career. Right. So he played Nathan Grantham saying Father's Day, where he's saying, "Where's my cake?" from the grave. Yeah, 1982. That's so cool. All right. And in The Twilight Zone from 60 to 63, well, basically 1959, but he did appear in 4 different episodes. From season 1, in episode 26, he was the minister in execution. And then in 61, he was Man as John Lormer in the season 2, episode 12, called Dust. In season 3, episode 23, in The Last Rites of Jeff Myrtlebank, he played Strauss. And in season 4, episode 7, his last appearance was Minister in Jess Bell. J-S-S Bell. Jess Bell. It could be standing for Jezebel, right? In Getting Straight in 1970, he was Vandenberg. And he did appear from 63 to 65 in 2 episodes of the Doctor TV series Ben Casey. In season 2, episode 31, Hang No Hats on Dreams, he was Sam Carstairs. And in season 4, episode 27, as Dr. Martinson in Journey's End in Lover's Meeting. Nice. Okay. And according to IMDb, his last final appearance was Martin Lamb in the great series with Michael Landon and Victor French called Highway to Heaven in 1984. In that, season 1, episode 10, he was in Help Wanted Angel. Nice. Very cool. So that was the mini bow of John Lorimer. Rest in peace. Okay. All right, folks. Well, we are done. We have accomplished another 4 episodes for you today from Get Smart and TOS. So we will look at next week's next 2 episodes from season 3. We're looking at episode 9, The Foley and Web. That's a great episode. And then episode 10, which is called Plato's Stepchildren. That's a fantastic episode. In fact, that's one of my top 5 if you ever ask me about top TOS film episodes, because it features that great Michael Dunn from the Wild Wild West who played Dr. Miguelito Lovelace. Miguelito meaning Little Michael, right? And he's in this as Alexander. So very cool. Yeah, I can't wait for that next week. That's going to be fun. All right. And let's see where I left off. Okay, so after Jim says hi, Kevin said good morning. Jim says I'm still here. Awesome. Jim says, I see 4 lights. Likes. Thank you. 4 likes, yeah. Thank you. Hello, Captain Infinity, Time Travel Police. Welcome, Captain. He's got his coffee. There we go. Good morning, Captain. Welcome. Kevin says, hey, Captain. Yeah, it's great to see you, my friend. Awesome. All right, so we got 4 likes and 2 people still watching. Very cool. All righty. Good morning, Captain. Yes, that was a great night last night, Captain. We had a very good panel. Everything was going good. It was great. Loved it. Oh, let's see. All right, so sometime next week I'll go ahead and do 2 more episodes of each show twice for the week. 2 different times. Like I said, it'll be season 3, of course, from each, and episodes will be 9 and 10, and 11 and 12. So should be easy enough to remember. But in case I go brain dead, I should write it down myself. So let's see here. Yeah, so give me a couple seconds. I'll write this down for myself. There we go. Season 3 and episodes 9, 10, 11, and 12. There we go. So that's for NW next week. There we go. Very cool. All right. So we're all set for that. Alrighty. Okay. So appreciate everybody being here. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Captain. It's all most appreciated. And thank you, my beautiful wife, Suzanne, for lurking and being there, as always. And yeah, thank you so much, gentlemen. That was very, very appreciated that you come in this morning. That's very cool. Yeah. You're all very loyal, very wonderful friends. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Okay. So let's see what's coming up. Okay. So this weekend, we've got hopefully 2 podcasts that our niece, Charlotte, Night Star the Werewolf, our agent. I can't do the oh, there we go. Better. All right. So I believe on Saturday afternoon, about 1:05 p.m. Yeah, 1:05 p.m. Pacific, which I believe will still be 4:05 p.m. here in the Eastern Time Zone. Charlotte will be interviewing, hopefully, Larry, my best friend from Years of Adventures, about music and so on. Then on Saturday night at 5:35 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing the Nostalgic Pod Blast as co-host with my friend Chance Bartels there, where we'll be talking to Mark Melkoff, who is the author and podcast host of his own show about late night talk shows, and of course, we'll be talking about the late Johnny Carson, the man, the myth, the legend. And let's see. And then on Sunday afternoon, around the 1:05, 4:05 time frame again, hopefully Charlotte she'll either do a regular live stream with panel, or she'll also interview Ezra Carter, one of our best friends who works in Hollywood, and he'll talk about all the stuff that he's been doing and maybe we can question him when he got started in his career and everything else. So yeah, he's a great guy. So hopefully we'll get a chance to interview him. So that's really my plans. That's it. 3 things I'm doing this weekend. But as Matt Arnold liked to say, remember, you never know where you'll see me next or hear from me next. So, you know, I usually do a variation of that. But thanks, Matt Arnold. Thanks, brother. Of course, Suzanne says, leave everything in God's hands. Great advice. And of course, my awesome brother Larry, who was there last night with us, says, always be yourself. And that works out. I mean, that's a great piece of advice as well. So, and finally, last but not least, the wonderful Gene Siskel, Siskel, who was my favorite nerd on Siskel and Ebert at the movies, great movie critic, and of course worked for the Chicago Tribune. And his family was gracious enough to allow me to use. And now the aisle is closed. So great stuff there. Okay. All right. So, like I said again, I want to thank Kevin. I want to thank Jim and LOL Jim, Kevin. And I want to thank Captain Finity for being here. Remember, make sure you go to their channels. Commodore Jim's Landscape Commodore Productions 01 has a lot of great Star Trek fan film there. He has other things that you can watch, and yeah, good content. So make sure you go there to Jim's Landscape. Also, Kevin's Theme Park Adventures. He has some good video. He did recently shoot some awesome footage for the 70th anniversary of Disneyland, which opened in 1955. So he has some stuff there. And of course, don't forget Captain Infinity Time Travel Police. Make sure you get his nonfiction book about fiction, about time travel, when it comes out. So yeah, make sure you also subscribe to Captain Infinity Time Travel Police. And Kevin says, bye, Jim. And take care, Jim. He says, bye, everyone. Good to see you, Jim. Thank you so much for coming in first this morning to open up the chat. Thank you. Appreciate that, sir. And thank you again for last night. All right. So on behalf of Captain Infinity, my beautiful wife, Suzanne, Kevin's Theme Park Adventure, and Jim's Landscape Commodore Productions, I want to thank all of you for being here today. 4 likes. Appreciate that. Got 2 people still watching. Very cool. And as I always like to say, God bless everybody in the chat. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Everybody we know that is going through rough times right now, both brothers Jason and Jay in Michigania and Louisiana, and our beautiful brother Larry there, who's going through a lot himself there in Arizona, and everybody else is going through difficult times. Let's hope that they get better. Big prayers. Kevin says amen. Thank you, Kevin. You're always great. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. So on behalf of God bless America, God bless Canada, God bless the rest of the world, including your neck of the woods, Captain Infinity. And of course, our wonderful travel with Lisa MH, Lisa Hogan. God bless you, hon. And I'm glad that you're enjoying your time here in Canada before you have to go back, and enjoying your time with Hidden Jackpots, your boyfriend. So really awesome. We're glad for both of you guys. We love you. Okay. And Charlotte, we'll see you this weekend. We love you, our niece. So take care of yourself, please. And Mom. Say hello to Mom for us. Give her a big hug if you get a chance to rewatch this. And Chance, I'll see you on Saturday night. So very cool. And remember, God bless the rest of this world. Remember, we only have one of it. So please make sure you become the guardians and the stewards to take care of this world. Hopefully, we can all achieve a fragile peace so that other future generations can get a chance to go out there and see all the beautiful things that this world can offer. So, already. So, on behalf and peace from Chatty Blogger Mikey Suze. So, on behalf of myself, my beautiful wife, and our beautiful cats, Deja Vu and Moon Pie, we want to thank you all for being here this morning. And we'll see you next week as we return with our next 4 over 2 days of season 3 of Get Smart and TOS until we finish. We're also planning a couple of 1v1s. I know Charlotte and I and my wife Suzanne are hoping to do a 1v1 with her at the end of this month, November. Next month, Boone Claus returns with Jim's Landscape. So we are going to interview the man, the myth, the YouTube leader of Commodore Productions. We're going to talk to Boone Claus in a Merry Christmas mood there for next month, 1v1. And then on January, hopefully I can get, in that month, I hope I can get Matt Arnold and Jay Aldridge and Larry to do a special uh, live stream we're going to do about country music. Yeah, because I grew up with some. I mean, I did not a lot, but I grew up with some in my early, teens. And these other three guys are really good at it. They know a lot about country, especially I know Jay does, my brother Larry does, and I know that Matt does. So yeah, we're going to talk about that in January sometime. Yeah, just keep remember, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this channel, and of course, don't forget to hit the all notifications bell. This little thing right here. Yeah, don't forget to hit that so you'll know when we get our next podcast up, our 1v1, or these webcams, or even an occasional live stream. I might do a JAS, which is just another stream. I've done plenty of those. And if there are any special events coming up, I do have a special edition JAS that's, I'm sure, socked away, ready to be brought out and done. So hopefully all of you get a chance to catch us here on ChattyBloggerMS. So take care, everyone. God bless. And like I said, we'll see you again.